Welcome to Lesson 4, Where to Keep Bees. Selecting a good site for your hive is one of the first steps in ensuring successful beekeeping. It is important to select the best site possible. Depending upon the size of area available to you, your space may be limited, and you may have to adapt your situation to your surroundings. There are also local ordinances about beekeeping in your area. Make sure that you check with your local governmental agency that's responsible for your location to see if there are rules about how to set up your hives. If you need to adapt to your surroundings, there are many ways to do that. Successful beehives are kept in almost any location, from the traditional rural setting to rooftops in large cities. What makes a good site? Here's a brief overview, and we'll go into more detail on each one of these in our following slides. But first, you want a site that is flat and level. You want a site with good early morning sun, probably facing east or southeast. You want good water drainage, access to a reliable, dependable water supply in the summertime, good air circulation, protection from prevailing wind, especially in the winter, easy access for the beekeeper year-round, and screening in a residential area. Let's go into each one of these in a little more detail. A flat and level site is very important. It needs to be firm and stable, providing a secure base for the hive. Your hive can weigh well over 300 pounds when mature with honey supers filled. If the hive is stable, there will be less chance of damage from accidental bumps from lawnmowers, dogs, and the other part to remember is put your hive up on a base of some kind. Many people use concrete blocks, railroad ties, but get it up off of the ground. Good exposure is very important, especially for the early morning sun. You want the hive entrance to be facing toward the east or the southeast. The morning sun helps keep the bees early in the day when a lot of the nectar is ready and available in various flowers. It also gives them more time during the day for foraging. In the afternoon, especially in a warm area like ours, afternoon dappled shade helps to assist in cooling the hive. The bees don't have to spend as much energy providing air conditioning if the day is very hot. Good water draining. You need to have your hive located conveniently so they can access water, but on the other hand, you want it far enough away from them so that the hive is not sitting in water. The hive produces moisture by evaporating nectar to make honey. Too much moisture requires the hive to spend energy on evaporating it when they could be using energy resources to gather more nectar and pollen. Also, in cool or cold weather, moisture builds up from the heat generated by the bees themselves. It is much harder for them to remove that moisture when it's cooler temperatures, which can result in death for the bees and potentially the hive. In our area, moisture retention in the hive is one of the greatest causes of hive loss. Make sure the site you select isn't in a standing pool of water in the late fall or early spring, when the ground freezes and the water doesn't flow away easily. Access to water, however, is important for the bees. They need to have a close, reliable water supply when they're active and flying outside the hive. If you don't provide one, they will find one. So you want one that's close to the hive so they don't waste energy flying far away, and one that doesn't cause your neighbors concern, such as relying on their swimming pool. You want one that is easy and safe for them to use because they can drown. So be sure to put rocks or twigs into the container that you provide. Good air circulation is important for, as you can assume, for that moisture evaporation, and so there isn't a moisture buildup in the hive. You don't want the site so enclosed and so protected that there is no air movement. You want protection from prevailing wind, especially in the winter. And we do have harsh winters here. The pictures on this page show a variety of ways that people have protected their hives from winter winds. If you'll notice, none of these are totally wrapped, and for us, that is something that we do not recommend in our area. The complete wrapping of a hive, once again, it doesn't allow for air circulation, and it increases the chances that there will be significant moisture buildup in the hive. Another item that is very important for the beekeeper to keep in mind is make it convenient for you. You want to be able to monitor your bees all year long, and you need to be able to conveniently work them whenever needed. Keep your hive as close to you as is appropriate based on space that you have available and whatever rules or ordinances apply to your particular jurisdiction. Consider how comfortable you and your family are being near bees. In residential areas, screening really does help. It reduces concern by neighbors, it reduces the chance for vandalism, and it forces bees to fly above the height of a person as they go to and from the hive, resulting in less accidental bee-human collisions. And some ordinances, especially Spokane City, require it, but check your local ordinances and make sure that you're complying. A little bit more on ordinances. Even if the area in which you live doesn't have an ordinance related to the keeping of bees, responsible beekeepers will take into consideration how their hives might impact their neighbors, using good beekeeping methods to make sure the situation is as successful and positive. Everyone should check with their jurisdiction to verify what rules apply, but here's a brief summary. Washington State requires beekeepers to register their hives for a nominal fee. Currently, for 1 to 5 hives, the charge is $5 per year, and it goes up incrementally from there. The money collected goes to honeybee research here in Washington State. Spokane County, in the unincorporated areas, does have beekeeping ordinances addressing requirements, especially in the more densely developed areas. The counties nearby, such as Stevens and Lincoln, do not have ordinance related to keeping bees at this time. The following cities in Spokane County do not have ordinances related to keeping bees: Cheney, Deer Park, Liberty Lake, and Medical Lake. The city of Spokane Valley does have ordinances allowing beekeeping with some restrictions, so please check their ordinances so that you're sure that you're in compliance. The city of Spokane does have ordinances about beekeeping, and the most important, and the one that is different from any of the other jurisdictions, is that a person must take a beekeeping class that is certified by the Washington State Beekeepers Association and follow the conditions specified in the ordinance. The city of Airway Heights does not, at the present time, allow beekeeping inside the city limits. So in summary, what to look for in selecting a site. First, you need to make sure that the site that you want is flat and level. It needs to have good exposure so that it gets morning sun from the east or southeast. It needs good drainage so there's no standing water in the spring or late fall. On the other hand, you do need to make sure that the bees have access to a reliable water supply during the season. It needs to have air circulation, but on the other hand, in the winter, you need protection from the prevailing wind. It needs to have year-round easy access for the beekeeper. In residential areas, either ordinance may require screening or you may wish to have it yourself. And then check your local ordinances for the residence area that you plan on keeping your bees to make sure what their rules and restrictions may be.